Hey Pretty Girl Club, welcome back to the Beluga series. Today I got a really good question from one of the pretty girls in the Patreon. She wanted to know the difference between how I was treated at a size medium versus a size small. And by the way, if you're not a part of the Patreon, be sure to join it. If you like the Beluga series, I have hundreds of extra episodes on there. I go more in detail, and you can also ask specific questions, and then we can talk about them in there. But when I talk about size small or being extra thin, I'm going to be talking about being a size 6 and below. And the reason that I'm putting a number on it is because only 15% of the female population is a size 6 and below. So if that's your dress size, congratulations, you are skinnier than 85% of the female population in the United States. You know how in the red pill they try to humble women by saying, oh, well, she's not even skinny. And then whenever they talk about women who have nice bodies, she's always a size 6 and below. The reason that they use dress size as a humbling tactic is because they know that statistically the average size in America is a size 16 to 18. So getting all the way down to a size 6, getting all the way down from a size 18 to a size 6, losing 10 or 12 dress sizes, that's unattainable for most women in the United States. That is very unattainable. You have to go against a lot of cultural norms in order to even lose that much weight, because capitalism has taught us to consume more products, and that includes food. So if you have made it all the way to a size 6, you're automatically going to stand out. So that's the number one difference that I noticed between being like a size medium, kind of 8 to 10, 8 to 10 to 12. That's the biggest difference between 8 to 12 versus size 6 and below. You are literally in the top 15%. So if they were to line up you and 10 other random women, only you and maybe one other woman would be a size 6 or below. That's how rare it is for you to be that size. So part of the difference in how you're treated and part of the privilege you attain is this privilege of being rare. This privilege of standing out in a crowd. So when you walk through the mall, 85% of those women are bigger than you. When you go to a music festival where there are millions of people there, when you go to a concert where there are tens of thousands of people there, 85% of the women walking around are bigger than you. So the number one difference is being treated as rare or kind of standing out more. And that's something that I noticed too. Like, people definitely stare at me more. Also, I happen to be tall. So if you're tall and slim as well, not only are you standing out for being tall, but also being slim, you're going to get that model treatment, or you're going to have people assuming that you're doing some sort of modeling. People may even ask you questions. Like in my case, when I went from a size large, size medium to a size small, that was when people started asking me, oh, wait, are you one of the models? Or like, do you do modeling on the side? Meanwhile, I never said anything about doing modeling. These people are just making assumptions. Okay, so that's one of the biggest differences. Number two, the type of privilege that I received, it changed a little bit. So even though I was already thin, size medium is still thin. You're not fat if you're size medium. But I feel like once I crossed over into a size small and then down to an extra small now, I feel like the type of privilege I get, it's almost like this princess, dainty type of pretty privilege. It's almost like it increased this sense of feminine privilege. And the reason I'm saying that is because I noticed that even other women will hold the door for me now, or they will try to help me carry my bags. It's because they assume that I can't carry it because I'm so small. But I'm actually stronger now than I was when I was bigger. I'm stronger now. I have more endurance now. I can run for a long time. I can lift heavier if I wanted to. But because of the way I look and because of the stereotypes they have with my very slim body type, they start giving me more of this princess treatment. So they don't want me to carry anything. They try to pack up. They make sure to pack up my bags for me really well. When I go to the grocery store, they offer to help me more often. Like with carrying my bags and all that. So that's a difference that I noticed ever since crossing over into size small territory. And I will say, there is something for me about being a size small or extra small. I don't want to lose that. I don't want to go back to a size medium. And I guess it's because I don't have a good psychological relationship with the word medium. I just feel like that doesn't describe me. That word does not describe me. I'm not medium. There's nothing medium about me. I don't look medium. I don't want my serving sizes to be medium. I'm not mid. Medium is kind of like middle. You're in the middle of the road. You're not the largest person. You're not large, but you're also not small. I just don't like this concept of me always floating in the middle. So that's kind of what pushed me over the edge to where I was like, no, I just want to go ahead and become a size small or like an extra small, so that even if I gain weight, so if I'm on my period, if I'm bloated, if it's Christmas time, if I had a bad weekend, or I just, I went on vacation, I ate a little bit too much, then I don't have to worry about teetering over into size large. And by the way, I recently cleaned out all of the size mediums in my closet. Oh, that's another thing too. The difference between like crossing over into size small or maybe like a size 6 and below is that because my size is so rare, it's so much easier for me to shop. I have actually gone to those thrift, you know how they have those events in different cities where you can trade clothes? It's like a clothing swap. So you bring a bag of clothes, and then other women bring their bags of clothes, and then you can kind of shop the clothes. So I go to events like that because I just love clothes and fashion and stuff just in general. So anytime I go to one of those events, guess what part of the store is always crowded? Size large. Women are fighting over size medium. They're fighting over a size XL. They're fighting over size 12. But all of my sizes, size 4, size 2, size extra small, size small, all of my sizes are just sitting there because nobody is a size small. 85% of the female population in the United States is larger than a size 6. So that means when I go shopping, the average store that I go shopping on, and when I go on Amazon, when I go on Shein, on Fashion Nova, Princess Polly, all these shopping websites, 85% of the women from the United States shopping on those websites are not my size. So that's another difference. There's less competition for shopping. Like my size is not sold out as often, which makes it very convenient. Also, my size goes on sale a lot. I've got a lot of shirts for like $3, $2, because nobody's a size extra small. Who wears a size extra small cutout shirt? The average person does not wear that. The average person doesn't wear that. So that's another difference I noticed once I crossed over into being exceptionally thin. And by the way, this video, it's not meant to create a hierarchy. This is just meant to kind of answer the question. That's what my whole channel is, by the way. It's just us exploring ideas, kind of like bouncing thoughts off of each other. But that is one thing that I noticed is my size goes on sale more often because they always have like a surplus. I feel like with size small and size extra small, there's always a surplus of that size because nobody actually is that size. A lot of girls who are actual adults, over the age of 18, no, that's definitely not the average size. Number 3, I actually feel like I meet the standard of beauty in terms of body. So there's a difference now because I told you guys I've been thin my whole life. I've actually never been obese. I have lost weight, but I've never been obese. So even when I was a size medium, a struggle medium, I didn't feel fat. I knew that I was still skinny, but I still was fighting to perfect and sculpt my body when I was a size medium. I was actually going to the gym more often than I do now. I used to work out 6 to 7 days a week because I was struggling. I was a size medium, struggling to stay between a medium and large, and it was my dream to be able to get back to my original size, which is like a small or an extra small. So now that I am that size, I feel more like I actually meet a beauty standard because I've noticed that when I go in the gym, for example, or when I look, like when I put on a belly shirt, for example, or if I put on a bikini, anything that shows my body, I look in the mirror and my body legitimately looks like Cassie, for example, like the singer, or like a Tyla body type, or like, something with a very toned stomach, skinny legs, skinny booty, toned arms, washboard abs. So it's like I can actually relate to a lot of celebrity women that I see, a lot of aspirational women, basically. I've crossed over from just being healthy, which is good. That's already an achievement. If you're below a size 18, you're technically above average statistically. You're already skinnier than average because that's how fat most people are in America. So I never suffered from like a fat phobia, but at the same time, I also didn't feel aspirational in terms of my body. So I wasn't super insecure about my body when I was like a size large. It was more so if I was in a crowded setting and then some other woman walked in and she was a size small or a size extra small, it would kind of remind me of what I did not have yet. It reminded me of what I was still working towards. So that's what I mean when I say I was somewhere in the middle in terms of my own body goals. But once I crossed over into a size small, now I'm the one that the other women are looking at. That's another thing too. I notice I get way more stares from women now versus when I was size medium or large. And when I say more stares from women, it's not necessarily in a bad way. Like they're not looking at me in a bad way. It's more so they're looking at me in an aspirational type of way. I notice that if I go to a social event and they have hors d'oeuvres and they have like free drinks and stuff, other women will actually watch and observe what I order. I mean, they were already doing that before, but I've noticed it's increased more. They watch what I order. They definitely look me up and down more, and it's not always in a mean way. It's more so like, wow, I want my body to look like that. Or, I can tell that in their head, they're kind of questioning, how did she get her body to look like that? So it's like you get this natural pedestal. You get a pedestal amongst women. Women, they can no longer deny that you look good. If you're a size medium and you got a little bit, like when I was a size medium, I had just a little bit of cellulite, just a little bit of stretch marks, a little bit of a saggy booty, a little bit of a pudge. I had a little bit of arm fat, a little bit of armpit fat, but now at a size small or extra small, oh no. If you try to say that my body is fat or I don't look toned, you are an absolute hater at this point. So there's a crossover where once you reach size 6 and below, it's laughable for somebody to say that you're out of shape or that you're fat. It's laughable. It is laughable for someone to say, oh, well, you don't have a small stomach. What do you mean she doesn't have a small stomach? She's a size small. Size small by definition means she has a small stomach, small arms, small legs, small butt, small boobs. So I feel like as I progressed from a size large to a medium to a small, my skinny identity, my identity as a thin woman, it strengthened, if that makes sense. I was comfortably thin as opposed to fighting to be thin at a size medium. That's just how I felt at a medium. I'm not throwing shade against other mediums, but yeah, I felt like I was more so fighting to be thin, or I was right on the cusp of being super thin and fit, but I was like not quite there, but I was close enough. That's kind of how I felt before. Like, oh, I'm close enough. Now it's like, oh no, bitch, you can't get close enough to me. So now I feel like if I were to gain 10 pounds, well, actually, I know that if I were to gain 10 pounds, I would go to a size small. Like right now, I'm like an extra small on top, size small on bottom, but I don't have the same fear of gaining weight that I used to have when I was a medium. Because if I'm a medium and I gain 15 pounds, now I'm a large. Now I am officially a large woman. That's what the size means. That's what the definition of large means. It means I am a large woman. Large stomach, large boobs, large arms, large legs. So there's less fear now. That's another difference in being like a size 6 and below versus above a size 6. Like when I was right above a size 6, like a size 8, I didn't feel fat, but I also didn't feel skinny. I felt like an untoned skinny person, if that makes sense. I felt like a thin woman who was bloated. I felt like a thin woman who was struggling a little bit. So there's a difference in my emotional state. There's a difference in how my nervous system is now at a size extra small versus like a size 8. So that's one of the main differences. I think I'm on number 3. People compliment my shirts way more often at a size extra small, I've noticed. I know that's really random. They compliment my shirts specifically, whatever top I'm wearing. And I told you guys I wear very cheap tops because it's so, the stores are just trying to get rid of their size extra smalls. So I will be wearing a shirt that literally costs $3. There is nothing particularly special about my shirt. Sometimes I'll wear like a spaghetti strap shirt or like a graphic tee, those baby tees with like little cartoons on them or like just random stuff like that. The same clothes. I literally wear the same clothes that I wore when I was a size large. It's the same style. But I've noticed now that no matter what shirt I wear, I get compliments on it. And I think part of it is because when you are extra slim, like size extra small, your body looks like a mannequin at that point. I mean, that's what it is. Your body literally looks like the mannequins in the store. That's how you're shaped. And so it's not just that clothes fit me better, it's also that the cut and the design and the material of the clothing is more visible on a small body versus when I was bigger. Because, like, when I was chunkier, I had little rolls here and there. So when I say rolls, I didn't have rolls all the time, but it was more so like if I sit down, then I have a roll. If I turn to the side, you can see a little bit of bra strap fat. So there were little small pockets of fat kind of distracting from the design of my top when I was more of a size 8 to 10 or something like that. Whereas now there is literally no fat. There's no fat left anywhere. So there's nothing to distract from the material of my shirts. So the cuts and the designs are more visible. And clothes were designed more so for thin people as opposed to women who are big. So think about a woman who's a size 18, which is the average size in the US. If you're size 18, that's technically average. So think about the average woman wearing, this spaghetti strapped cartoon shirt with bows on it versus me wearing it. The size 18, you may not notice her shirt as much because you notice her boobs first, or you notice her stomach first, or you notice that maybe something's hanging out a little bit. Maybe she's got some fat hanging off the sides a little bit. She's got some back fat hanging off, or a little muffin top. So her body actually distracts from the outfit. That's what I notice now as a super slim woman. I notice that my body no longer distracts the viewer from my actual outfit. So my actual shirts get complimented for some reason. Like, they get complimented more. Whatever top I'm wearing, if I'm wearing a small coat or like a little blazer or a little sweater or something, people, they automatically notice it more and they compliment it more. Number 4, I am an automatic workout and fitness guru. So I try to tell people all the time, I am not a personal trainer. No, I'm not a professional athlete. But now that I'm super thin, people, they assume that you're more athletic. They assume that you're good at working out, obviously, because you look like you work out. What they don't realize, though, is, for example, my abs. Having a toned stomach or toned legs or whatever, it's not because I'm so good at going to the gym. No, it's because my actual diet. I have such a low amount of body fat to where you can see the muscle. It's not that I spent all this time lifting 200 pounds to build the muscle. So a lot of bigger people who don't really understand calorie deficits and stuff, they see your stomach and how toned it is, and they're like, oh my God, how did you get your abs? Oh my God, you have no back fat. How do you wear low-rise jeans and like a belly shirt and you have no fat? Oh my God, Tyla, you must spend all these hours in the gym. No, they don't. They just eat smaller amounts of food. They literally have less body fat, and so you can see their muscle. But yeah, that's a difference in how people treat me. They treat me as if I'm some sort of expert on fitness, or, they treat me like I'm more knowledgeable than them. I've noticed that a lot of people, when it comes to fitness, they have hierarchy thinking. So because I'm skinnier, because I'm in the top 15% technically of the thinnest women in America, they assume that I must be in the top 10% of gym girlies in America. They assume, oh wow, you must have a really good workout routine. Oh wow, you must go running all the time, and you must go on the treadmill and the elliptical every single day. So it's like I'm getting this special treatment. I'm getting the halo effect. They're assuming I have more knowledge than I actually do. Number 5, people started assuming that I'm rich. I literally started getting more stereotypes that I'm wealthy, which is actually interesting. I didn't expect that to happen because before, like I said, I was not fat. I was just average size, size medium. But I noticed ever since I crossed over into being very, very thin, like it's giving model, it's giving Naomi Campbell types of body, like body type, Anoki eye body type. Ever since I crossed over into that category, people, they naturally associate me with elegance and wealth. So I could be wearing the cheapest, dustiest clothes, and people assume that I'm like wealthy, or they'll compliment my outfits like, oh my God, your outfit is so classy and elegant. I remember one time I was wearing a raggedy ass sweater. I had on a fuzzy sweater with some fuzzy, it was like a fuzzy skirt with a fuzzy sweater that matched it. I got it from, I think, Fashion Nova. And it was very cheap, but it was kind of cold outside. So I just wore that outfit. It was ill-fitting, by the way. It was too big. So it was slightly baggy. It didn't look tailored or anything. But I remember people were really looking at me in the grocery store because I came there so I could get like a sandwich at the grocery store. And people were looking at me, and this one guy, he was like, wow, your outfit is so nice. Like, you look so classy. That was not a class. That's technically not a classy outfit. It's not. When I was bigger, if I wore anything fuzzy, nobody said anything because, I kind of looked like a big fuzzy teddy bear. I looked like a female teddy bear. I was like a walking teddy bear. I was a walking Care Bear. I had a bear body shape, so it's like, oh, she's just a big teddy bear. But now, since I'm very thin, wearing something fuzzy, I notice that the different materials, whenever I wear a different material, like fuzzy sweaters or a silky shirt or kind of that velvety material, like the cheap velvet, not real velvet, if I wear something like that, it gets a lot more compliments than before. Even if I wear sheer or mesh, which is very cheap, that's what strippers wear. But if I wear it, suddenly, oh my god, that's so cute. Oh my god, look at your top. It's like mesh. Oh, that's so cute. It's so 80s. And people start calling me nicknames like Barbie. Oh, you look like a Barbie. You look like a doll. I didn't get called a Barbie at a size large because Barbies on average are not large. They're slim. So that's another difference in how people treat me. They notice my clothing more because my body, the flaws in my body are not distracting from the clothing. Number 6, nobody notices anymore when I'm bloated. When I am on my period, I notice that I'm bloated. When I look in the mirror, I see a bowling ball stomach. When I look at my thighs and hips, it starts to look kind of swollen and thick to me. I feel like sometimes I have this look where it's like kind of thick if I've been overeating or if I have like water weight, but nobody else notices because I'm so slim at this point to where even if I think I look quote unquote thick, my standards of thick for myself versus other people's are just, it's not giving thickness at all. So I would say that's a difference in how I'm treated. My bloatiness, if I'm bloated, I don't feel frumpy anymore. I don't feel frumpy anymore because before when I was bloated, I was, I'm already size medium. I'm already a struggle medium. So now here I am on my period. Size medium's too tight. Now I got to switch up to a large. So I got to wear a size large at work. I have to wear a large button-up shirt. And then the shirt looks all frumpy. It's kind of sagging. Like certain parts of the shirt are tight and then other parts of the shirt are loose. I don't have that problem anymore at a size extra small. There's no such thing as, oh, certain parts of it are tight. As a matter of fact, it has been a few months. I can't remember the last time that I put on a shirt and I was like, oh my god, this is too tight. I can't remember the last time I did that because I'm a size extra small. So it's like if I put on a shirt and it's too tight, something actually is wrong with your company. Or I must be wearing a child size clothing because, how am I already a size extra small and then the shirt is still too tight? No. So I can't remember the last time I put on a top and it was too tight. Actually, I'm trying to think about pants. Well, no, I put on size 0 pants recently. They were too tight. But when it comes to tops, though, no. Okay, I think I'm on number 5. People have started asking for my advice. So I talked about this a little bit before where I would be in Whole Foods and then I'd be in the trail mix aisle and then another woman would be like, oh, what trail mix do you think I should eat? Which one? Have you tried this one? Like, which one do you think I should get? People are more curious about me. So it's like I have this magnetism now that I didn't have before. I'm more magnetic now because people can see my results. Being thin, that's the one privilege where you can see it on your body. Being thin is the one struggle. Like if somebody is skinny versus being fat, that's the one struggle where you can literally see the results or you can see their failures on their stomach. You can see their success or their failure on their thighs. You can see it at the bottom of their chin when they turn to the side. So being thin, people automatically associate that with me having been successful. So I know a lot of people they'll try to gaslight on YouTube. They'll be like, oh, well, this person was just born thin. Okay, well, in real life, people don't care whether or not I was born quote unquote thin. They don't care. They don't care whether I was this size my whole life or whether I lost weight to become this size. They just want to know, okay, well, how did you get that size or how are you maintaining that size? That's what they want to know. So it gives me kind of this magnetism and almost like this social power. It gives me a social authority that I didn't have before. Number 6, my insults sting harder. So somebody trying to come for me in real life, if somebody were to try to come for me and say, oh, well, you're ugly, you're not cute, they know better than to come for me now. They know better than to come for me because all I would have to do is call them a bad body bitch and they would go home crying or they would say that I'm a bully. They would feel bullied by me insulting their body because I have more social power in their eyes since I have thin privilege. So before, when I was bad bodied or whatever, or, when I looked like a beluga, I could talk shit and it was not a big deal because people didn't get offended by what I said because, I didn't have that much social power at the time in terms of body types when I was chunky. But now, people know better than to try to talk shit about how I look. Well, generally speaking, I will say in real life, I don't really have a lot of conflict in real life, but I'm just saying, like, it's almost like I don't want to say anything that could be offensive about somebody else's body because I've just noticed that a lot of women are way more sensitive about their body in my presence. I've noticed that. I've also noticed more women approximate their body types towards mine in my presence. For example, there was this one girl, she said that she weighed 150. So, one thing about weight loss, and when you become good at kind of calculating calories, and once you have been 150 before and maybe you lost weight or something, you can kind of tell. You become better at guessing other women's weight, especially if that woman is around your height. So I remember there would be a couple of times where women who were also my same height, same body type, they would try to say that they were 150, and I'd be thinking in my mind, she's not 150, she's 175. But if I would have said that, if I would have said, no, actually, you're probably 175 because, when I was 150, I was still a medium. You're a size XL. You're a size 1X, or you're in a size large and you're kind of struggling in a size large. You're probably about 175. If I were to say that, it would crush that woman's self-esteem. So it's like I have more of this social power. My words carry more weight when it comes to being fit. Like when you're slim, especially size 6 and below, oh yeah, you're going to be the social authority on being thin. Because who can check you? Who's going to check you? You're thin. You have the body type that they are trying to attain. And that's another thing. A lot of women, I've noticed one of the differences is women will sometimes try to cope. They try to use a coping mechanism. They'll say things like, oh, well, I have more ass than you. Like I've actually been told that not that long ago. Somebody was like, oh, well, I have, my thighs are thicker than yours and whatever. And damn well at 200 and something pounds, that woman is at home. She's probably on Weight Watchers right now. But I can't say, oh, well, you're just fat. I can't say stuff like that because obviously they're going to actually get offended. But I've noticed that some women, you trigger them to the point where they will try to have a coping mechanism. So their coping mechanism is maybe they try to use their ass and be like, oh, well, my butt is bigger than yours. Oh, well, I have more boobs than you. Oh, well, I have more curves than you. No, you don't have more curves. You just have more fat, actually. Your body composition, your body type is still the same. So if you were an hourglass before, like in my case, I'm an hourglass or Coke bottle, depending on what you measure. If you measure my shoulders compared to my hips, I'm an hourglass. If you measure my breasts compared to my hips, I would be like a Coke bottle. So there is no such thing as, oh, well, I have more curves than you. No, you just have more fat. You have more fat because I still have curves, technically. According to the numbers, when I measure myself, I technically still have curves. So there's no such thing as, oh, well, I'm an extra small, so I lost my curves. No, I didn't. That is a coping mechanism that bigger women will use because they're trying to convince themselves that their body is still just as desirable as yours. But I notice for me, as a size extra small, I don't have to even compare myself to other women's bodies. Like, I know some girls in real life. I know a lot of girls who have BBLs. I don't compare myself to their BBL because I'm happy with my own body. So I don't care if she has a BBL and it's really big and, she's 200 and something pounds and her butt, like, stands up like a shelf. I don't really care. But I've noticed one of the differences between when I was a size medium or large crossing over into being skinny is people randomly started having coping mechanisms as to, and they're comparing their body to mine. Okay, so if you're comparing your body to mine, I am your standard of beauty in terms of body type. So that's another difference in how you're treated once you get very, very thin. You are people's standard of beauty in terms of your weight or in terms of your dress size. And then some women will try to lie and they'll be like, oh, well, you're short. You're 5'1" and a size 6. I'm 5'8". I don't want to look like you. I have long legs. And it's like, okay, she may not be your standard in terms of height, but she is your standard in terms of dress size. So stop lying. So sometimes people, they try to make up another random standard because they don't want you to feel special. And that's okay. They don't need to make you feel special. Once you cross over, especially into a size small, trust me, society will make you feel special. So you don't need random coworkers or family members telling you that you're special. You're already special because, first of all, your exact body type, your exact stomach is all over the media. It's all over Instagram. All those men lusting after all these women. You know how they complain like, oh, this man follows all these girls on Instagram. The girls they follow, they have my body type. They have at least one body part in common with me. I don't care if they have a BBL, boob job or not. They have a flat stomach in common with me, generally speaking. So there's no part of my body, like, I don't have this mindset where my body is not a standard of beauty. No, it is a standard of beauty. At least one or more aspects of my body that I have right now is a standard of beauty. Most people in society want to have a flat stomach, okay? So me having a flat stomach, even if I had nothing else, having a flat stomach in itself is already a standard of beauty. I only have one chin. I've never heard a woman in my life say that she wants to have a double chin. I've never heard that. Oh, I like having a double chin. I want to have a triple chin. No. So the fact that I have just one chin because I'm slim, that is a standard of beauty that I naturally meet. So it's like another aspect of crossing over into like a size small is it's laughable if people try to convince you that you're not a standard of beauty. That's laughable. Okay, I think I'm on number 6. When describing me, people started using terms like body goals. So before, it was like people didn't say anything. When I'm maybe a size medium to large, they may not say anything. They may not comment on my body. So my body may not help me and it doesn't hinder me. But once I crossed over into size small, model territory, that's what I call that. Size small is more like model territory. You can still have thin privilege and not be size small, like I said. As long as, especially if you're at a healthy weight, you're fine. But crossing over into what I call model territory, yeah, that's where people started using terms like body goals, saying that I'm their body goals. So it's like they're associating my body with success. Also, I want to get into the male gaze a little bit because I did notice a difference as well because, okay, so when I was a size medium, when I was a size struggle medium is what I'll call it. So when I say struggle medium, I was a size medium the majority of the month. And then sometimes if I was on my period or if I went on vacation or if it was like my birthday or a holiday, then I would teeter up to a size large for about a week or so. And then I go back down to a medium. So that's why I say it's a struggle medium. So when I was a struggle medium, I noticed that in terms of men that I attracted, they were still, a quote unquote provider or whatever. But I did notice that, okay, one guy that I dated, he still looked good and everything. He still fit my standards at the time, but he was, maybe a couple pounds overweight. So when I crossed over into a size small, specifically, I noticed an interesting shift where even the types of men that were trying to ask me on dates and all that, they mirrored my body type. So you know how I have a flat stomach, toned body, toned abs and everything? These men would also have flat stomach, toned abs, toned chest, nice biceps. So they would have this model type of body just like me. So my social life started to reflect my body type. So it was a form of social climbing. I didn't realize that I social climbed in terms of body types because the people I attracted, the guys I attracted had a different body type that mirrored that. The friendships I attracted, the women had a body type also more similar to mine. And then if I look at my friends from when I was more chunky and frumpy, I noticed a lot of my friends from that time that I had to cut off were also chunky and frumpy. And this is a very common phenomenon. You hear a lot of women talking about this when they lose a lot of weight. Like if they lose 100 pounds or something, what do they have in common with an obese woman? I'm just saying, seriously, what do they have in common? And then in terms of being able-bodied, like that's one of the big things too that happened with losing weight. my friendships changed. And it's not in a bad way. I was never like beefing with anyone because they were big. Well, actually, one girl, I told the story on the Patreon. She we stopped being friends because she got mad that I ordered an Uber and she couldn't fit in the Uber, which is not true. She was not even that big, but she was so insecure about her body or whatever. So she actually got mad. But that's an example of when it comes to being able-bodied, the types of activities that you can do with each other are different. So, like, for example, that same girl, the obese one who I cut off because she was a fake ass bitch, that same girl, she was the type where she would get tired when we were walking around at a festival. She doesn't want to walk around because now she's tired. So it's like, as I lost weight, especially teetering over into size small, my friendships naturally started to shift because my hobbies and my lifestyle was different. I don't live the lifestyle of an overweight woman, which is sedentary. The reason that you're overweight is because you are sedentary. You don't move your body. You eat too much and you don't move your body. That's why you're overweight. There is no other reason to be overweight unless you have something medically wrong with your thyroid, which is still your fault. So my lifestyle crossing over into a size small, I noticed my friends also, kind of my circle, they're also pretty women who are also healthy weight because their lifestyle is the same. They want to go out with me. They want to go out on the town and, go out bar hopping and all that because they also feel confident in their bodies versus when I hung out with women who were kind of like frumpy looking or they were overweight, insecure with their body. They didn't want to go out. They'd get cranky. They'd be annoyed. They'd be like, oh, the men are acting stuck up. The men aren't talking to me. They couldn't even have fun. Their self-esteem, they didn't have enough sources of micro-validation. Being skinny, like being a size small, is a form of micro-validation for me. So even if I did go somewhere and I don't talk to a man, I don't feel any type of way about that because society has already validated me. So I'm not over here validation starved in terms of my body type, so I'm depending on a man to compliment my ass when I walk into a bar. So the social dynamics of my friendships also changed. So as I leveled up my body, my friendships began to level up because I started meeting girls at the gym, or I would meet them in the Pilates class, or I would meet them while I was working on my body. Okay, I think I'm on number 7. I noticed that people, they make my body a bigger deal than what it is. It's almost like they hype me up. Like, so before, I would get compliments on like my face. I feel like my face card was more of like my pretty privilege when I was chunkier, if that makes sense, just because my body was literally out of shape. Or I would wear clothes to where you can't see my body because I was trying to cover it up. But I noticed that getting slim, people really, really hype up my appearance now to the point where it's like almost like this adoration, like they adore me in a way. It's like, oh my God, like when I post or something, or if I'm in a photo with somebody else, they'll be like, oh my God, who's that? Oh, she's so pretty. Oh my God, look at her body. Oh, look at her outfit. And it's like, I'll be wearing a basic outfit. Like I remember one time I was wearing a crop top and a skirt. It was like a matching crop top and a matching skirt, and it was a sparkly blue color. And I remember I went downtown, and little kids, little girls were running up to me. They were like, oh, you're so pretty. Oh, you look like a princess. Oh, mommy, can I take a picture with her? Take a picture with me? Okay, that's a different level of adoration. You only want to take a picture with me because you're associating my actual body type with somebody who's famous or some sort of princess. Because think about it, Disney princesses, they're skinny. They're at a healthy weight. I don't see Snow White having big ass love handles and a big ass stomach hanging over the side. No. So it's almost like when I dress up, even though I don't consider myself to be dressed up, but other people, they view me as being more dressed up or more put together and polished. And it's almost like this sense of adoring. It's like kind of scary sometimes, honestly. It's kind of scary almost. So have you ever been around some skinny girls where they feel a pressure to stay skinny? Part of that pressure comes from these people treating you like a goddess or something, or like some sort of Barbie doll, or like, I don't know, they're treating you with such reverence. That's a good word for it. There's more of a reverence. There's a reverence and a respect for your body, People feel like your exact body type is highly coveted. That's what it is. So I've had, like in my case with the children, like having little girls in public or little teenagers treating me different. Like I've had a teenage girl recently. She like walked up to me. She was probably about 15. I think she said she was in ninth grade. And she was like, "Oh my gosh, you're so pretty. Oh, you look like a doll." I was literally wearing jeans. My hair was in a curly ponytail, and I had a basic, I had a basic little shirt on. But again, with the tops, because I'm so small, the shirts that I wear in particular, if the shirt has a unique cut to it, like you can just see the cut of your clothing a lot better. So if you wear like puffy sleeves, or if you wear like a sweetheart top, or if you wear a halter top, there is no fat distracting from the intricacies of your clothing. So I feel like the reason people keep using these phrases like doll or Barbie or princess, they keep using phrases where it's like something that's not real. A Barbie, that's not real. That's like a fantasy. So it's like people associate me with this fantasy, and especially little girls, because, they're just young. But them walking up, that's a difference too. They walk up to me now sometimes, and then they'll ask me questions like, "Oh, do you have any beauty tips? Oh, well, can you tell me how I should do my hair? Do you like my outfit?" Like the one girl that was like 15, she was like, "Oh, like, do you have any tips in terms of clothes? Like, what do you think of my outfit?" And I was like, "Oh, your outfit's so cute. You're wearing a perfect outfit." She was wearing a little belly shirt. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't let my teenager wear a belly shirt if I had a daughter, but yeah, it's just different, like how people perceive you. They're perceiving you as so aspirational because your body, it really is unattainable. It is. It's unattainable for the majority of the population. That's why only 15% of women in the United States are a size 6 and below. Yeah, because 85% of women can never do that. They could never. And so that's why when you reach the top 15%, oh, and by the way, for all those red pill guys that try to say, "Oh, she's a 6 out of 10, she's a 4 out of 10. Actually, in terms of body type, if you're a size 6 and below, actually, statistically speaking, if I were to rate you on a scale of 1 to 10, you actually would be an 8.5, because you're in the top 15% in terms of body types. So if you're size 6, you're at least an 8.5 in terms of body. So I just want to throw that out there. Like if we were to do the 1 to 10 scale in relation to the averages in the United States, then yeah, you're an 8.5. Your body's an 8.5. But for me, the more slim I am, the more I have this desire to like protect my body. So that's another thing I've seen with other girls who are slim, especially women who went from being obese to being at a healthy weight. You see the difference in how society treats you. Let's be honest, society is disgusting with the way that they treat people. Society is gross with how they treat people. They literally put human beings on a hierarchy based on things like skin color, hair texture, facial features, body type, their wealth, the amount of status they have. So having a thin body is a form of status. And especially having this model-esque type of body, oh yeah, that's a very high form of status. You're definitely going to have random people commenting on your body. Just random people. You'll be walking down the street. Other women will be like, "Oh my gosh, you're so pretty. Oh, look at those legs. Oh, I wish I had your body. Oh, if I had your body type." You'll get a lot of that once you hit like a size small. "Oh, if I had your body, I would wear that. Oh, you're so cute. Your outfits are so fun. Like, if I could go back to being your age again, and if I had your body type, I would wear that type of sweater. I'd be able to get away with those types of clothes." So you become the object of a lot of men and women's fantasies. A lot of men want to be with you, and a lot of women want to be you. Literally, they want to be your dress size. They would love to be. Think about the amount of women, and especially depending on your age. Oh, the older you get, the older you are and the thinner you are, oh, forget the top 15%. You're in the top 5% at that point. Like that woman that just posted the video saying she had pretty privilege, she went from being obese to being at a healthy weight. She's in her 50s at a healthy weight with a flat stomach. Do you know how many women in their 50s look terrible? The average woman in her 50s looks horrible. So if you're older as well, like if you are, let's say you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and you make it all the way to size 6, oh, I mean, you might as well just be disgustingly conceited at that point. I mean, you're a freaking supermodel at that point in your age group. And that's another thing. I've noticed that sometimes people try to humble in shape women who are older, and they'll be like, oh, well, you don't look as good as somebody who's 20 years old. And it's like, that's not how life works. 50-year-old women, 60 and 70-year-old women, they're probably not trying to look like they're 20. That's not their goal. I've never in my life come across a 70-year-old woman who says, oh, I want to look like I'm 25. No. Usually if they get a facelift, or if they get, if they lose weight or get their hair done, they just want to look like a good-looking 70-year-old. Or maybe they want to look like 10 years younger. They're not trying to look 50 years younger, because that's also creepy. Because why would you want to look 25 if you're 70? Like, are you trying to attract 25-year-old men as a 70-year-old woman? Like, that's weird, So most women, they're not trying to look like a baby. But I've noticed that, like, the older you are, or another thing too is if you have kids, I've noticed people are especially impressed as well. If you had children and then you snapped back, you went back to having abs again. You went back to a size small. There was this one girl that I knew. She was really young though when she had her kids, but she was already skinny. She was already like probably a size 4, size 2. After she had her baby, she became even skinnier than before she had the baby. So that's another aspect too when it comes to kind of this pedestal. So a lot of women are secretly pedestalizing you. They are secretly trying to look like you. That's why as a thin woman, I know that I've gotten a lot of women staring at my food. What kind of food does she eat? And this is also why you see a lot of women making negative comments or just commenting on what you eat. They're not always trying to be mean. But sometimes they'll be like, oh my God, that's all you're eating for lunch? Like I used to get those comments at work whenever I would have soup. And it's like, soup is a normal meal. Like, why are you so shocked about soup? Like, do you never have soup for lunch or dinner? Like, are you that much of a beluga? Everything on your plate has to be a mountain of food? So I remember people used to talk shit at my job because I would have soup or like smoothies. They'd be like, oh, that's not real food. That's liquid. You didn't even chew any food today. That's just, why are you having bone broth? They would get triggered by me having something like bone broth. The reason that I have bone broth is because it has a high protein content. It's easier for my stomach to digest it versus red meat. And then if I'm sick or something, broth helps me feel better. So bitch, that's why I'm having bone broth. But a lot of women who are struggling with their weight, basically you make a lot of women spiral. That's another difference. Once you cross over into model territory, like size small, I noticed just the other day, I took a picture of myself, and then I looked back at the picture. I was like, why do I look like a fucking typical ass LA? I look like a typical LA baddie type of aesthetic. I'm like, why do I keep on having this aesthetic? And I thought about it. Well, it's because the beauty standard in LA, in terms of body types or in terms of aesthetic and all that, has to do with that body. That's why you hear women complaining in Miami, oh, I didn't get in the club. What were the body types of the women complaining? What do you think the body standards are in a place like Miami, where beach culture is heavy? Anywhere that you go geographically that is near a beach, your body is definitely going to be like worshipped on another level as well, because your body literally fits the standard of Los Angeles. You look like a bikini model. You look like you belong in a bikini commercial or something in Miami. You look like some sort of exotic bikini girl or whatever. But something else that happened once I crossed over into a size small, I remember I just got done working out. So I was wearing my workout clothes. I was kind of scantily dressed. I was wearing less clothes than normal, honestly. And that's because I was working out outside. So I was wearing a sports bra, and it was a stringy sports bra. The sports bras with like the strings in the back, and like it's still high impact, like it still holds you up, but it's kind of like for back day. You know what I'm talking about? Those types of sports bras. So I was wearing a bra like that, and I was wearing a matching skirt. So it was like a tennis skirt. That's basically what it was. It was like a tennis outfit, because sometimes I do stuff like that, like playing pickleball or tennis or whatever, and that's my workout. So I was wearing basically this tennis outfit, and me and my friends, we went to this little sports bar. Somebody thought that I was a bartender at the sports bar. Well, that's because they're associating my actual body type with being like a bottle girl, or like, have you ever been to those places where they have the sections And then they have the girls in the short, kind of like a Hooters girl or something. So that's something else that happened. Nobody did that when I was a size medium or large. When I was like slightly pudgy or something. First of all, if I was slightly pudgy, I wouldn't even wear that outfit. And another thing that happened too with me and my friend, both of us are tall and slim. We went out to this one party. It was like a Halloween type of party last year, and both of us dressed up. We didn't dress in extravagant costumes. We just wore like the colors, so like an orange shirt, like orange and black basically. We had our makeup done. We had our heels on, so we were extra tall. And we walked in there. Everybody at the bar is just like looking at us, just marveling at us. And then people were asking to take pictures with us. That's a weird, it's a compliment, but I would say it's a part of the pedestal. It's a part of that celebrity treatment. People think that you are an official member of that event. Like they think you are an official bottle girl. You're an official bartender. You are a woman that is there to make an appearance. And so they want to get pictures with you. That's happened to me several times. So not just at bars, people assuming, oh, you must be someone who works here, or hey, can I get a picture with you? It's just, I could be wearing a basic outfit or something festive. If I wear something festive, like I wear a fuzzy red outfit and it's Christmas time or something, or, it's literally because of my body type. That is the only difference, because I've dressed the same pretty much my whole life. So whenever I wear something festive and I go to a big event, people start asking to take pictures with me. And I notice that the same thing happens with my other friends who are also slim. They're also the same size as me. People ask to take pictures with them. They'll be like, oh, can I get a picture with you? Because they feel like you're a model in a way. It's almost like you're viewed as a model. Like you are the representation of what we are supposed to look like at this event. So like, I'm going to take a picture with her. Okay, I think I'm on number 8. Nobody is grossed out or disgusted when I overeat. So one time I bought 3 ice creams. First of all, that's beluga behavior. Do not do that. But this was actually not that long ago. I literally got several ice creams. There have been times where I would go to a dessert place and I get more than one dessert. So basically ordering like a beluga. But part of why I do that though is because when I'm at home, I eat perfect, or I try to eat as perfect as possible. So sometimes when I go out, I'm like, hey, I've been doing really great over the last 6 months. I haven't had chocolate in a very long time. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and order a couple of slices of cake, or I'm going to order like 3 scoops of ice cream. If I would have done that at a size large, I noticed like when I was a size large, people started warning me. They started admonishing me and basically like saying things like, oh, well, are you sure you want to do that? That's not healthy. Or what size are you now? What pant size are you now? Or you just ate. Why are you eating again? Those were comments that I got more so when I was chunky. At a size small, bitches can't tell me nothing. Nobody says anything. In fact, I've had some people, they think it's cute, or they laugh, or they're like, oh my gosh, where does it all go? How are you eating that food? I wish I could eat 3 slices of pizza and stay skinny like you. So it almost becomes like this running joke. Nobody is disgusted when I overeat. Nobody gets shocked or freaked out if I order a whole bunch of stuff. I remember one time, this is when I was frumpy looking, I had ice cream, and somebody commented like, why are you eating the ice cream like that? And they were saying it like they were disgusted, basically. I eat ice cream the same way to this day. And nobody says shit. Nobody says anything now if I eat a whole bunch, if I eat like a beluga, if I act like a beluga. I've also noticed that when I overeat, like if I'm eating a lot or if I'm eating sweets, I've actually had other people comment and say, oh, well, now I don't feel bad about having all this pizza because Exoticals United had 3 slices of pizza. Like I've literally been around women counting how many pizza slices I have, counting how many popsicles I have, and then if they witness me overeating, they feel more safe with them overeating. And then if I'm eating a small portion, then people get triggered by my small portions. So now I'm more secretive. I'm more private about my diet. I'm more private about my diet. So sometimes I may not order anything if I already, sometimes I might eat at home and then, I just go out and I don't eat anything when I'm there, because now, since I'm a role model, whether I like it or not, I'm on the pedestal. My body is on the pedestal. So my body is the role model. They want to get to my size small or extra small, size 2, 4, 6. So now I have to be more secretive in a way because people will literally watch what I order. They'll watch what I'm eating. They'll be like, oh, dang, she's eating healthy. Oh, wow. You had vegetables. Wait a minute. I wish I could be that disciplined. They start almost spiraling. Like I've been around women where they literally start verbally spiraling because they witness me eating vegetables. And I remember one time I walked into a Pilates studio and there was this one girl. She was bigger. She was not even fat at all. She was probably size 10. She was maybe size 8 to 10. And I remember I was wearing an all white Pilates outfit. So I had a white sports bra with the matching white leggings and I had a matching white cropped jacket. And she was like, oh, wow, you can wear white. And I was like, oh, thanks. And she was like, yeah, I can't wear white because it makes me look bigger. Then I'm going to get bloated. Then I'm going to spill food on it. She had all these reasons as to why she was essentially too fat to wear white. So even the color of the clothing that I wear or the type of print of clothing that I wear, like I've heard some women say, oh, I can't wear polka dots. Well, I can't wear stripes. I can't wear horizontal lines on my clothing. I can't wear large flowers on my clothing because it makes me look bigger. So it's like everything you do, everything you wear, you're kind of being watched by other people. So your presence is more triggering. Like that's what I noticed. My presence is definitely more triggering around like bigger people versus when I was a size medium or size large. People weren't triggered as much. Number 9, I can have crusty hair and makeup and people still think I look put together. So before, when I was a beluga, I had to do my makeup. I had to make sure I was contouring the crap out of my face so that, you can still see my cheekbones. You can't see any cheekbones with all that fat layered on top of it. So I was wearing more makeup. I was trying to do my hair. I was trying to make sure my hair was always long enough to cover my bra strap fat. So I remember I was like, oh no, I can't wear my hair in a high bun because, then on the back of my shirt, you can see the bra strap fat. So I got to make sure to wear super long hair that goes all the way to my tailbone or, make sure to wear my hair down, make sure it covers the bra strap, the back fat. No, I don't do that anymore. I notice people still think I look cute or put together when I'm literally wearing a $3 cotton dress and no makeup with a ratchet ass wig on, ratchet ass hairstyle, messy ass bun, walking around looking like a wet rat, and people literally think that looks cute. And by the way, I would just like to shout out Karrueche Tran and Lori Harvey for popularizing what I call the wet rat bun, but now it's like everybody thinks that looks cute. But that's a part of why it looks cute. It's because those women are skinny. Those women have nice bodies and pretty faces. So you can get away with, like I feel like now I can get away with wearing my hair in a ball. That's what I call it. That's not a real bun. That's just me wrapping my hair in a ball. But it's so pedestalized to be that thin. And then to have the face card or whatever to where you don't have to try as hard, if that makes sense. So I feel like I don't really have to use the enhancements, the beauty enhancements, because being thin, especially being size 6 and below, oh, that's, baby, I'm enhanced. My stomach is already enhanced. My lower back is enhanced. My booty is enhanced. My legs are enhanced. But what do you ladies think? Let me know in the comment section and I'll talk to you next time. Stay pretty, ladies.